Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm also good, thank you. So, shall we start?
Yes, we can start.
So, how much experience you are having in total?
Okay, so I'm having around years of experience. Yeah, and currently I'm working with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, can you tell me what are the good software practices you can follow while developing scalable software?
Okay. So the software practices like which we have to follow in like, if we are developing the any software in Java technology basically. Then yes, of course, we have to follow the solid principles and the best practices, which is given in the Java, so that like we can have a efficient and scalable uh, yeah system.
Okay. Okay, fine. And uh, in which domain you have experience?
So I have experience in banking and finance as well as telecom domain. So I
Okay.
have, in whole, like mainly I have worked on banking. And I think 3 4 years I have worked on telecom.
Okay. Okay, so in any domain, like uh, which type of database? So there are two types of database, right? It can be NoSQL and can be SQL database. So which type of database you will prefer with banking domain project, and which type of database you will prefer with uh, telecom domain project?
Okay. So for banking domain, actually security should be the priority, right?
Yeah.
And we have to use the data which should be that should not be go to the external environment, and we have to take care of the security is a primary concern for them, and we have to follow most of the security principles into it. And yes, telecom is also, yet we have to, but yes, but in banking, like most of the, so if we use a SQL, databases, then yeah, we have basically, schema is already like we have to define and right. So like we cannot, it's completely, depends, I could say, like if the requirement is in such a way, like it's completely depend, like if we in SQL databases, like the schema is already defined, right? And which is like we can define and define the schema before, right? And yes, if like for complex structure, yes, we have to use the databases, like where like I have mainly work on SQL, sorry, MySQL, Oracle, right? So I think that is, and in NoSQL, if we'll go like the differences, like if we'll see, then we have a dynamic schemas, right? In NoSQL, I never got a chance to work on NoSQLs, but yes, it has a different like we have a dynamic schemas into it,
Okay.
so we cannot change it. It will be get changed, and like as like in on whole years, like I mainly work on SQL data only. So there, like we predefine schemas and everything. So in banking finance domains, like I've mainly it's on SQL databases only.
Okay. Okay, fine. So, what is the difference between stack and heap area?
Yeah, so heap, it will, talk in terms of, Java heap area. Heap can have, it store the objects, and in stack we most of the time the method and our threads get piled up or stored, right? So uh, yeah, so in heap area, we have different part where like we have a permanent generation, like, okay, but permanent generation will be before 1.8. After that, that is also gets segregated from that heap area. Like it is like if we talk about the Java heap, the all the memory management of Java, then yeah, it has a heap and the stack, where heap is consist of, it has a like different survival stages, and hidden spaces there, and we have old and new spaces, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's on the basis of the like when the object has to store, it should be in the heap always, and the threads and the method area is on stack. They are get stored in the stack basically. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fine. So, can you tell me the internal working of a concurrent hash map?
Okay, so concurrent hash map, so like if we talk about uh, Java 1.8 feature, like so in the concurrent hash map, basically it is divided into these segments, and each segment is consist of a hash map, we could say one hash map. If it will not lock the whole object, basically, like if multiple threads they want to read concurrently, that is possible because it is divided into these segments, and if they have to write also, then if they have to write into different segments, then they it's probably possible. So, and we can have a different segments and the locking. So basically internally it is use the re-entrant lock, so that yeah, that is helpful uh, to for to perform this kind of operations. Yeah.
Okay. So, can you please switch on your camera for screenshot purpose?
Yeah, yeah, sure, definitely.
You can take the screenshot now. Okay. Okay, it's done. You can switch off if you want. Okay. So, do you know we have indexing in databases?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
what is the need of indexing?
Okay, so indexing basically, it's required to get the data on, or on at like suppose I have to take out the data at which is in a specific index, then I can directly go to that data instead of traversing the whole table basically. So yes, that is the main.
Okay. Okay, so what type of uh, these design patterns you have used?
Okay, so in like basically in Java, yeah, we have a structural design pattern. Like we have a behavioral design pattern. So in structural, I use singleton is the one which most of the time is used. Decorator is used most of the time. Adapter is the one like which is again in use, and yeah, factory is used. Yes. So yeah, mm, dependency injection is another in Spring, like which
Okay,
is
so you want to, like in singleton design pattern, you want to
Mhm.
have double check locking.
In Singleton. Yes, we
Yeah,
have to.
but my condition is I don't want to have if else condition, and still I want to have double check locking.
Okay. So, uh, double check locking, you don't want to do, or like, sorry, I didn't get your question.
Like I don't want to have conditions. So in generally in with double check locking, what we do, we put condition, and if it can be a if condition, and then we check if the object is there or not, if the
Correct.
object is null
Correct.
or not or something. So I don't want to do that, and
Hmm.
still I
Okay.
want to have an environment where it will double check my object.
Okay. Without, okay, I need not to perform that double check locking,
Hmm.
or like how to, like, without that, how, what we can do to, okay. Okay. So, okay, we need not to double check it. And we have to, okay. Okay, so internally for, okay, that if else condition you need to put, and yes, I think volatile is used in between. Fine. That we don't want to do. So what else we can perform? So, okay, anything.
Okay, you can leave this question. I think it like I haven't conveyed it so well, so I will leave this.
Mhm.
Uh, we should move ahead
Is
on.
it linked with threads also? Like if when multiple threads they want to access, and so we need to initialize it before, or like that.
Actually, we
It,
do double check locking to like if in multi-threading environment, what will happen?
yeah, that's what. That's why I can, recall it most of the time in multi-threaded environment only it will be, used, right?
Okay.
Uh, that concept, yeah.
So have you used thread pool?
Yes, yes, I've used.
Any framework like executor service or anything?
Yes, 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 I have used
Okay,
executor.
so there are two methods in executor service: submit and execute.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
what is the difference between these two methods?
Okay, so once we submit, okay, then okay, so executor service dot submit. Okay, yes. So once like we have submitted it, we cannot like it will. So execute method basically, okay, there is no return type into it, and then once we submit it, then it should, I think, return something. Submit, yes. So it will return something always. Submit when we execute a, yeah, service dot submit, whenever we do this, it should return something, right? In submit, uh, most of the time. And I think execute, there is no return type at all. So that is the main thing, basically. It should, yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
okay. Apart from that, I think this submit method accepts runnable and callable task as well, while execute only accept runnable.
Yes, yes, it will take some parameter, yes, runnable, and yeah. So if, yeah, callable, it will return that, it return something. Yeah, as far as I remember, it is returning future object only. Yeah,
Yeah.
but execute doesn't return anything. It is void only. So yes.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Uh, okay. So what do you like? What are the new features you have used of Java 8?
Okay, so new features like yes, Stream API is the one, and in executor framework itself, we have used the which is come in Java 8 only. That new work steel thread pool, that new method is like we have used, which is a part of 1.8 itself. So this is the one. The second, yes, stream, yeah, we to for iteration to putting the condition, filter out the things. Yes, we have used stream API, and yeah, lambda expressions, of course, that is again a part of it, which we are most of the time we have used.
Okay.
Uh, Beside that, in data time also, like yes, we have used to yeah in new feature of date and time, which is comes in 1.8, that also we have used. So yeah, mainly like in executor framework, like as I told you, like that new work steel thread pool is the API which introduced new. So that and streams, yeah, most of the time we have used.
Okay. Okay, so what do you think? Why string class is immutable in Java?
Mhm. So string is immutable because see we need most of the time, like in banking, like if you say account information or anything, it's which we need not to change basically. We need not to append that object, right? So for that, like it should be it like we have to create we need that kind of object where it should not get append. So that's why string is immutable for security purpose, for for making Java, making it secure from the outset user, and yes, of course, it will it will handle that yeah. So
Okay.
because of that, string is immutable.
Okay, fine. So have you used cron expressions as well?
Yes, 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 yes.
So
So for in scheduler, like we have to create like we have created a schedule actually in our project. Like we have to run one task at 10 p.m. only
okay.
because yeah. So for that, like yes, we have write a cron expression for generating that schedule that particular task at 10 p.m. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fine. And like, how do you tackle multiple inheritance in Java?
So in Java, through interfaces, like we can, have a multiple inheritance. We can, get a multiple inheritance. We can leverage it through inheritance,
Okay.
basically.
So suppose you have two interfaces, and these
Mhm.
two interfaces have two, I mean, the separate default methods with the same name. Okay.
Okay, okay,
Okay. And in a class where you are implementing both these interfaces, now you want to use, so there are two interfaces A and B, and
hmm,
then we have class C, and this class C is implementing A and B both interfaces, and these both interfaces are having a method called try, which is a default method.
okay,
Default try,
okay,
default try. Okay,
okay.
so you, how do we ensure that if we want to use a default method of interface A, how do we ensure that?
Okay, okay. So I have to okay, run my default method of interface A only or interface B only or specific, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So I have to use the reference of that interface basically to calling that method. To invoking that method of interface A, I have to use the name of the interface, and then I have to invoke that method.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Yes. So interface A dot, and then I can invoke the default method with super, I think. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So why like
Or there is one more way. If we want to implement our, if we want to implement a specific, method, like if there is an ambiguity and we want to implement our implementation, then we can, override the default method directly.
okay,
Yeah, but classic. That is also an solution.
okay, fine. So uh, what is comparable and comparator, and
Hmm.
which one you will use in which scenario?
Okay, so comparable and comparator interfaces.
Yeah.
Okay. So comparable interface, which is having a method compare to, while comparator is having a compare method, which we have to pass to object. Okay. So comparable is implemented in a class itself. Okay, and comparator, like suppose I have to sort, or compare in by ID or by name, right? So in that case, comparator will be getting used, so that we can separate, we can create a separate class, like compare by ID, and we can implement that comparator interface, and we can use it in my main, my class, where, like, suppose customer is or employee is a class. So there I can use. So comparator is used when we have to compare by a specific.
Okay. So if you want to give comparison logic by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
then
Comparator we can use, like
okay,
specifically, like suppose by ID only or by name only, like that I have to use, suppose.
okay, okay, fine,
Yes, yes.
fine. I think. Uh, so have you used Spring?
Yes, yes. Uh, uh, if you don't mind, I just message this person that I will call later.
Okay,
Is it?
no problem.
Yeah,
Yeah, fine with me.
just otherwise it will, I'm getting all continuously. Okay. Yes, yeah. Sorry, we can continue.
No problem. Okay, so what do you understand by application context?
So application context is a class, basically. Oh, sorry, is an interface. So uh, like we can have a object, and we can use uh, its extension classes for creating a object of Spring.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you understand by aggregation?
Aggregation is okay. Aggregation. Yes. So aggregation is something like aggregation composition. Fine. Okay. Composition is one class is called in another, and aggregation is having an object and of one class, and we are aggregate its property to another class. Okay. And composition from one class, we're calling the object of another, like inside the another class. Composition. I think I skipped this concept, this aggregation.
Okay, no problem.
Little
Okay.
confused between
Yeah,
aggregation.
it's not an issue. Okay, so uh, what is the difference between redirect and forward?
Okay, yeah. So redirect method you're
Yeah, method.
yes. So redirect is basically redirecting my from one service one servlet to another, right?
Yeah.
So basically, like if we talk about the differences between forward and redirect. So so in basically like both the processes, like from from our client, either from JSP or servlet, right? uh, we have to forward one process which is there, and uh, we have to send that request, well, the same object we have to keep, and we have to send it to another servlet or JSP. So, it will be, redirecting basically from one to another. The differences, like forward will, I think it should always be remain in that process. I think forward basically, and the redirecting is will yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Oh,
think forward has some, constraint. Probably it will be redirect to same. Uh, you know, uh, I couldn't recollect that term basically. So like within that process, basically, the forward will happen. Uh, Not process, that server basically. Yeah,
okay.
in the same server that forward will happen. But I think redirect will be redirect to another, probably. Yeah, I think that could be the
Okay.
recollect.
Okay. So, I think I have done from my side. Do you have any questions for me?
So I just want to know about the requirement and like how yeah, how it is.
Yeah. So for the requirement